Massive contract update for Cincinnati Bengals superstar on the defense. Welcome into another Bengals Digest channel. I'm Carson Lokey. Hopefully you guys are having an amazing day. And obviously, it seems like this offseason has been nothing but contract talks. And that's because Cincinnati was kind of in a standstill with most of their superstar players needing to be extended or re-signed. And one of those, most importantly, to me at least, is the superstar on the defense, Trey Hendrickson. It's no surprise that Trey Hendrickson is the cornerstone of the Cincinnati Bengals defense. Now, his contract situation, it seems to be like every year, Trey Hendrickson and the Bengals are having some sort of dispute on wanting to be traded, wanting to be extended, because Trey Hendrickson, all he's been fighting for is just a long-term deal. Now, we're at the point where Hendrickson has 1 year left on his deal, and he has no reason and has no desire to play out the last contract with nothing set in stone for the future. And it makes sense. Honestly, he obviously has a wife, he has a kid, he's 30 years old, he's getting up there in age for NFL players. So he wants something long-term. So for the last few years or however many years he's in the NFL, he's not hopping from team to team, moving his kid around who's going through school, around to school, and I understand that. But latest updates on Trey Hendrickson coming from Ian Rappaport himself, and I want to break down the report. Like, I'm going to go by report, word line by line, breaking down what they are saying. The report is coming from the Cincinnati Bengals Sports Illustrated. Go check that website out. I see a lot of the videos come from there. But let's jump right into the report. So, there has been some communication between Trey Hendrickson, Bengals amidst contract saga. So, yes, some communication, and my point is massive considering there's been a lot of no communication. So let's break down all of those. It's all quiet on the Trey Hendrickson front regarding new contract movement for the star Bengals edge rusher. But NFL Network's Ian Rappaport did offer the latest on the situation during an appearance on the Pat McAfee show. The two sides have been in contact throughout the past month. So, first thing to notice, it seemed after Jamar Chase and T. Higgins were extended and then in the draft, it seemed like Trey Hendrickson was on the back burner for the front office of the Cincinnati Bengals, and there hasn't been much communication. But now the past month, now that the draft is over, communication has picked up. So that's a really good thing. This is Ian Rappaport. I think that was by design, him talking about when it went quiet, that everything went quiet, Rappaport noted. He made his point. I think it was very received. I think he talked disgusting when Trey Hendrickson basically said, trade me or pay me. And he said, let me at least test my market. And I think that was Trey Hendrickson making his point to the Bengals, like, hey, I will not stay for this last year. There has been some communication between the Bengals and Trey Hendrickson since that interview being when he was on the Pat McAfee show saying, pay me or trade me. Since the draft, there have been talks. The Bengals picked Shemar Stewart off the edge. I think he understands that. I don't think the Bengals drafted Shemar Stewart thinking he's going to replace Trey Hendrickson. It just doesn't make sense considering you would then have to draft another edge rusher or at least bring in another one considering you also lost Sam Hubbard. And they drafted more Shemar Stewart for his versatility in the defensive line where he can be an edge rusher, but you can also put him over the center as a nose tackle or even defensive tackle because of his size. So I don't think they picked Shemar Stewart first round to be a replacement for Trey Hendrickson. I think it's more of a to fit in with Trey Hendrickson rather than to replace Trey Hendrickson. Even Rappaport continues, I think they want to do a deal. The Bengals want to do a deal. Now, a trade, I would never rule out a trade because the NFL trades could happen literally at any moment. But I think they want to keep him. So, yes, obviously, Trey Hendrickson has been on the trade block. He has now since been taken off the trade block by the Cincinnati Bengals, but never rule out a trade. I think that's the last option as of right now for the Cincinnati Bengals. They don't want to trade him. If they would have traded him, it would have been more likely before the draft to get an extra pick or an extra 2 picks, but no team was willing to give the Bengals what they needed. And for the Cincinnati Bengals, Trey Hendrickson is worth a first-round pick. The rest of the NFL might not value Trey Hendrickson as a first-round pick kind of trade value, but for the Bengals, he is worth a first-round pick. So if I'm the Bengals, I'm not trading him unless I'm getting a first-round pick and probably a player on top of that, because that's how valuable he is to the Cincinnati Bengals. We're not just going to give up our best asset on defense for a third-round pick when he is as valuable as a first-round pick to the Cincinnati Bengals. So a trade now, it would have to be the last option, and I think the Bengals would be fine with having him honestly sit for the last year, and then instead of doing a trade, in my opinion. Then Ian Rappaport continues, but I think they want to keep him. Obviously, the Cincinnati Bengals and Trey Hendrickson have been very open about wanting both to stay. The Bengals sometimes function a little bit slower than some organizations, but they want to keep him and do a deal. Obviously, we all know this. Cincinnati Bengals are operated a lot differently than most NFL teams, or any NFL team at that matter, with how they run the front office, how they get deals done with their players, contracts, all the good stuff. Cincinnati Bengals are very unique, and they take a lot of time because, the Bengals, they like to make sure they account for every single penny in every single deal that they do. And with a contract of this magnitude, with your star player on defense, your cornerstone on the defense, how much money he's going to need to stay, and how many years the Cincinnati Bengals front office are going to take this very slowly and meticulously, planning out every single penalty. And that's not an exaggeration. They are going to plan out every single penny. Report continues. Cincinnati has gone through multiple voluntary workouts this week without Hendrickson as the off-season program begins to ramp up. Having him around to mentor Stewart and establish a larger leadership role would be ideal for the 2025 success. But business is business as Trey Hendrickson starts the program away ahead of his final contracted season. So, that's the report. Now, to kind of break down everything that we just went through. Their Cincinnati Bengals, main point, Cincinnati Bengals and Trey Hendrickson have been in communication. The last month, even though he's not there with the Bengals actively, he has been in communication with the Cincinnati Bengals. Trey Hendrickson wants to stay in Cincinnati, and Cincinnati wants Trey Hendrickson to stay there. I think that's the key factor moving forward in the next few weeks. The fact that both want to stay. Cincinnati wants Hendrickson in Cincinnati, and Hendrickson wants to stay in Cincinnati. And now looking at the actions, because NFL teams aren't going to come out being super honest and open to what's going on with the contracts. The players more than likely will do that for them, but Trey Hendrickson hasn't, and he's not that kind of guy. So looking at their actions, and like I've said in previous videos, I look at the team's actions rather than what they're saying, and let's look at what the Cincinnati Bengals have done. Restructured the contract of Zach Moss, which opened up more than $1 million in cap space. Restructured the contract with Geno Stone. That opened up more than $1 million in cap space. The talks around the team, the fact that Jermaine Pratt will most likely be cut, and I honestly think that Trey Hendrickson hasn't been signed because of Jermaine Pratt. And let me explain. I think they're waiting to see what is going to happen with Jermaine Pratt, whether that's going to be a trade or if they're just going to have to ultimately release him. Because I seriously doubt Jermaine Pratt is going to be on the Bengals roster in 2025, with the fact that they drafted 2 linebackers in the draft, and Al Golden is a linebacker coach and likes to run a 4-3. Jermaine Pratt's not going to be a Bengal in 2025. So I think kind of Trey Hendrickson is at a standstill in the Bengals because they're just trying to figure out what they're going to do with Jermaine Pratt, whether that's going to be trading or releasing him. Because no matter what they do, trade him or release him, that's going to free up over $5 million in cap space. That alone is about a little less than $10 million in cap space they added from what they previously have. We have around $25 million in cap space right now. If we add a little under $10 million, we're over $3 million in available cap space. All that money that you are getting back from Zach Moss, Geno Stone, and then all the money from Jermaine Pratt, you could give all of that to Trey Hendrickson, and it would increase his salary by around, not more, but a little bit less than $10 million. And I know salary, what they're making, isn't potentially their cap space, but if we have more than $30 million, let's say we give Trey Hendrickson $10 million, he's making 26 instead of 16. He's making $26 million a year, which is which is top 5 for that position. That would be one of the highest paid edge rushers in the league at $26 million per year. That's still leaving 20, if not more, $1 million in cap space. Now let's say we bump him up to $30 million a year, right? And he's making $14 million more now. We're still around $20 million in the cap space. A little bit less than $20 million cap space, depending on how they do the contracts, because I know salary isn't directly connected to the cap hit of the player. But let's just say that it is. If we give him up to $30 million a year for the next 3 years, Trey Hendrickson is going to make $30 million. That's a $90 million deal for the next 3 years. He's making $30 each year. Let's be very basic. $30 each year. That's an increase from the 2025. He's supposed to make 16. That's an increase by $14 million. We would still have, if, I know once again, salary is not the same as cap space, our cap hit, but we would still have $20 million in cap space. And then every season, they're adding more and more money to the cap space. So if we have $20 million going into 2026 with our star players already locked up for the next 5 years, Cincinnati is sitting in the prime position to do whatever they want in the draft and free agency. Because, yes, we have some rookies that we're going to have to start signing to contracts now next season. But if we're around $20 million going into the 2025 season, and let's say they increase the cap space by another $10 million, and we have $30 million in cap space available for free agents and rookie contracts that need now past rookie contracts, Cincinnati's in the prime position. So that's why I think they're kind of taking their time, and Cincinnati honestly has the leverage. I think Trey Hendrickson, if he sits out this 2025 season, is like a career ender for him. I just think it wouldn't be smart for his football career to sit out the 2025 season. But I don't think also Cincinnati has any intention to not extend him or trade him or do something else. I don't think in either scenario Cincinnati or Trey Hendrickson are going to be willing to have him play on his current contract. I think something is going to happen. It's just a matter of when. And the fact that communication is happening is a massive sign, and I think the pivotal point is what is going to happen to Jermaine Pratt. I really think that's going to come down to if he's traded, when he's traded, or when he's released. I think pretty soon after that, Trey Hendrickson will be getting all of that money and more to sign him to a 3+ year deal. That's what I'm expecting, and that's what I'm waiting for to hear what happens with Jermaine Pratt, because I think that player and that amount of money, that millions of dollars of money that he's going to give back to the Cincinnati Bengals, is the pivotal point in the Trey Hendrickson contract saga. So that's all the latest on Trey Hendrickson. Thank you guys so much for watching this Bengals Digest channel. Before I go, I just want to do a little life update, a little pat on the back of myself, I guess. Today I'm graduating from college. I'm graduating with a bachelor's degree in sportscasting. It's been my dream to be a sportscaster. I love sports, obviously, and I love social media. I love media, creating content. So I'm graduating today with a bachelor's degree from the Dan Patrick School of Sportscasting at Full Sail University. A lot of fun, and also I will be updating, but I also might be moving after graduation for a job. So I'll keep you guys updated, because I know anybody who's staying this long in the video cares a little bit about me. So I just want to give a little update. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. Thank you for all the love you've shown this channel. It means more, and I appreciate it more than I could ever explain. So thank you guys so much. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the Bengals Digest channel. We're on the road to 1,500. We're only 200 away. I know we can get there extremely fast because of the love and how much you guys share this video. Don't forget to share this video with your other Bengal friends, because Bengal football is better together, trying to build that Houday community in the Bengal Nation, Jungle Nation. So thank you guys so much for all the love you show on the channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below how you feel about the Trey Hendrickson contract saga, and what you think the Bengals need to do with Trey Hendrickson. But yeah, thank you so much for watching for the Bengals Digest channel. I'll see you next time, hopefully daily now that school is over. I'm Carson Lokey. Have an amazing day, and God bless.